This is the smallest handmade sculpture in history.
My name is Willard and I made it.
I'm gonna show you 5 micro sculptures from largest to smallest, starting with the biggest one. Number 5 is the lady playing the violin, and it's around the thickness of the human hair. What's the smallest detail in this sculpture?
The violin. The strings on the violin was very complicated because you have to find something small enough to make the strings. I came up with a technique. Then you'll see all the little fibres floating, and then I'll catch them and then put them underneath the microscope. And then I'll see a fibre, then I'll take the fibre off, and that becomes a string for the violin.
Crazy. Can you show the tools that you use?
I have this one here, which is like a little hook on the end, which I shall find. And this is a syringe. It's got a hole in the front.
Can I try to hold one of these? Ooh. How is my stillness? Not
They're
good.
moving. It's moving.
Is it still?
Yeah, it's still moving.
So if I go like this?
Yeah, it'll still move.
Number 4 is the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. Well, you can't see anything, obviously. Anything particularly interesting or different about this sculpture?
You've got to get the portion right, and you have to make it look like him. One mistake and it won't look like it was supposed to look like. So every time I work, I hold my breath and I work between my heartbeat, and I can feel my pulse going. So then I stop. When it stops, then I move. When it stops, then I move.
Wow. And when it comes to painting with your lashes?
So I get some tape and I put it on the pillow. Then I put it underneath the microscope and I look and I can see an eyelash. Take one of those. That's a paintbrush.
Number 3 is the Coronation Carriage. What's the significance of this sculpture?
Well, it was during Queen's 70th year. I made this as to commemorate that time. Very complicated indeed. The wheels have to be completely round. The carriage itself is individually built. I lost quite a few of these before I even started, so I'll lose some of the wheels, disappear, some of the carriage will disappear.
What was her reaction?
When she looked down the microscope, she was like, I don't believe this. She was absolutely blown away. It gives me so much satisfaction when other people see the work.
If I were you and I was talking about some of my achievements, I think it would sound more like I'm bragging in some way. Whereas when you speak about your work, it's almost painful for you to remember,
I
right?
spend so much time like sitting here for 16 hours, sometimes even longer, suffering for the artwork because it's driving you mad. I'll be working away and I'll fall asleep. One time, see, I was working like this, eyes pressed against the microscope, and I fell asleep like this. And when I woke up, there was 2 round circles.
Number 2 is the polar bear. It's seemingly such a stressful job. How old are you?
67.
But you look so young.
I think it's because I keep holding my breath. Or it could be, I think I'm black version of Peter Pan.
How much was your most expensive piece?
Well, that went, I think, $500,000. I used to work with a company called Grugel Forsey, and they make the best watches in the world.
How does it feel to be the best in the world?
I feel the same as you. I'm just the same as anybody else. My mother would always say to me, go smaller and your name will get bigger. Difficult for me at school because I have autism, and it was hard for me to actually express myself because the school curriculum didn't understand autism because it wasn't diagnosed at the time. So I found another way. I hold my breath.
Yeah, I'm done. And this is the smallest one, Shakespeare inside of a human hair, your hair.
Inside one of those. On the end of this, once I sharpen it, we'll grab the hair, and the hair will be in the point. And then I scoop a hole right down the centre of the hair. And then the Shakespeare was carved from dust.
Sorry?
Made from dust.
How?
Carve the shape out. Once I've got the shape of Shakespeare, so all I do now is to paint it.
Paint dust with the eyelash?
No, the eyelashes, I couldn't paint it with an eyelash, so I had to paint it with another piece of dust. Because the eyelash is too big.